What's good, YouTube? It's your boy DJ LiftOFF, and you do not want to miss this flight. Today, we have a very, very special guest in the building. I'm sure you've seen him. I'm sure you've heard him. If you're a DJ, you better have. If you haven't, you're doing something wrong. Just to throw out a few accolades to start off with, he's a 2018 Global Spin Awards Turntablist of the Year. Turntablist of the Year anywhere is an amazing accolade. Of course, nonetheless, if you're a DJ, you already know. RedBull 3-style champion, DMC Techniques battle champion. Those are just two of many, many championships he's won. Definitely do your research. He's won too many to even name. He's traveled solo as well with acts across the U.S., Asia, Europe. Definitely a guy who's been around. He's also currently the DJ for Afu-Ra Radio. I'm sure he has many other things going on, which we'll dive into in just a second. But with that said, I would like to welcome DJ Ease to the Don't Miss This Flight podcast. First of all, man, how are you? How you doing? How you doing?
All is good, man. I'm happy it's summertime, so I'm enjoying myself, man. The weather's nice. I'm in upstate New York right now, so I'm good, man. Everything's good. Can't complain.
Cool. What's the weather like right now? It's June. It's pretty hot right there right now, right? Or getting hot at least.
It's up there, man. It's 89 degrees today.
89. Okay, yeah. I'm in Phoenix, so we starting to hit that 100 to 110 soon. So it's get a little, that dry heat be killing me a little bit.
You in Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix.
Okay, yeah, my people's out there, man. Yeah, I lived in Vegas for 6 years.
Okay,
so I already know what that dry heat's like.
Oh yeah, you already know. Okay, cool. So just to dive right into it, are you actually originally from New York?
Yeah, I'm from upstate New York. I'm from Rochester, New York.
Okay. So I'm guessing that's where you is that kind of where you got your DJ start in New York?
Yep. 20 years ago.
Yep. Okay, and what age was that? Like, what would you say the age that you first? Let's say the age that you first were interested in music, and then the age you actually like started picking up DJ or turntables. I'm guessing so back then.
I'm gonna say the first time I dived into it, I was 12, 11.
12.
Yeah, because my uncles are DJs, so they kind of inspire me. So yeah, 12 is when I got like my first like straight arm turntables, like for my grandparents, and I was playing records already. So
yeah. Okay, dope. When you think about to back then, did you like? Can you remember the first event? Like even if it was like a family event, like the first time you were like live on the tables.
Man, yeah, I did a house. It was in high school. I did like not a house party. It was like one of those pavilion things over at the park, like the local park.
Okay.
I was playing vinyl, and I ran out of records because I think I had like one crate or something. But yeah.
Okay. How many? So you know, I'm not too familiar with how many vinyls fit in a crate. How many vinyls fit in like one crate? Would you say? If you had
so I got these right here. So I would say like, yeah, probably this is probably it, right?
That's about a crate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is like probably 50 songs. 60
50 songs. Oh yeah, that's a tough one for
depending. That's not how you do it at all.
Yeah, depending on how long the gig is. Yeah, man, it's crazy every time. Like, so I do like weddings, different parties. Every once in a while, my OG will really come up to me and just like look at my controller and whatnot and talk about how it was crazy, like taking vinyls everywhere. Can you talk about that a little bit, just in general, what it was like, literally? Because of course we'll talk about controllers and everything in just a minute, but just like the literal physical aspect of like looking through crates, like you DJ and playing a song, having to go through a crate, look for a track, put it on there, put the needle down, find where the track is at. Like talking just a little bit about that, just that experience.
Yeah, first of all, carrying records was a whole
carrying.
Okay, so when I lived after high school, I moved to Brooklyn, and I would get gigs, and I had to literally bring a dolly on the train, you know. And then if you've been in New York City, you know, like every train station don't have an elevator, so you had to carry everything downstairs, upstairs, and that's a lot of weight on your back. I had a bad back early in life because of that. Like,
man,
there was a lot of that, and then obviously you had to do a lot more prep with the vinyl, like marking your records, your BPMs. Like it's Whitney Houston. Like I would literally write I would have to like write how fast the record is on the record, so I can mix it with other records, and then also knowing what songs were appropriate. You had to do a lot more prep back then, basically. Like now you can download a song from a pool and play it the same night and put the cue points on there like digitally, and you'd be ready to go. You know, back then it was like, you had to sit with your records.
Right. That make
Let's
a
not
lot
even
of sense.
talk about how much this costs. This is like $20 back then.
Per rec, per
Per,
vinyl,
per
man.
album. Yeah, per album. You spending
Or
like
per
$20.
album.
You was always broke. DJs were
Yeah.
now you spend $30 a month and you good to go.
You know what's crazy? I know how crazy, or I can think about how crazy it was. Just like I forgot about the whole like carrying the vinyl to the actual place, but the cost. That's one thing I've never even thought about as far as buying literally every album. That's got to be. And then I'm sure it sounds like you buy an album, then you don't even play it that much. You don't spend money on it. Don't even play it that much.
That's
Man.
why you know like the DJ back then had to have good records. Like you had to spend time finding the right records because you not only did you spend your time, you spent your hard-earned money on the records you bought, and they had to work the night you were playing them. Like I bought this record for $20. It's gonna work. It's gonna get me booked to come back. And then let's not even start the equipment, like the techniques and all that. That's a lot of money too, you know. So yeah,
Right.
it was an investment
Techniques.
to be a DJ.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So as far as going from high school, your first event live, what made you kind of take the turn from being like of course we have all types of different events, weddings, parties, corporate, whatever it may be. What kind of led you into the battle style or like entering battle competitions? What like initially sparked that interest versus like just being like not necessarily a typical DJ, but a DJ that just does events or parties?
So I learned how to scratch and all that stuff. Like I learned the technique part, like the technical part, the turntablism part. I learned that aspect before I learned how to party rock. So I'm back.
Okay.
I learned.
Wow.
I had one turntable and I had a mixer and I had a CD player. And the reason why I got into turntablism early is because my boys used to have. I used to hang out with these skateboarders. When I moved to the suburbs, my mom moved to the suburbs when I was like 13, 14. Out of the inner city. In the inner city, it was all about rocking parties and records, and that was cool and everything. But I started hanging out with these skaters, and they would have like videos playing in the background, and they had like some Zoo York video which had Rock Radar on it. Then they'll have like ITF battle videos going, and I'll be watching this stuff like, yo, this is crazy. And then I dove into the battle world first before I dove into the party world.
Wow, I think I've never heard the opposite like that. That's pretty that's interesting, honestly.
Yeah. That's why I didn't have a lot of records. Also, I had good records, but I had records I grabbed from my uncles, or I had records that I got from the local record store or turntable stuff like all the Qbert records, like the Super Seal breaks and all of that. So I had a lot of those.
Okay, dope. I know that helped tremendously. So when you were first diving into it, because even for me, so learning how to scratch was a very very long journey. It was very, very tough. And a lot of DJs come to me, they just think it's impossible. And I remember thinking at one point that it was literally just impossible. Just trying to get your hand on a crossfader and your platter, and on the other hand on the platter, it just always seemed like you're trying to do one thing, two things, never came together. When you first started, how did you kind of get, or how did you learn in the beginning? Like what was it? Was somebody teaching you? Kind of teach yourself? What did that look like for you?
I'm from the era of teaching yourself, man. Like if you had a crew that was doing it with you, that was cool. Like you get it with your homies and scratch together, and that's cool. But then you go home and you spend 6, 7, even 8 hours a day. Like I don't know how I found time to do my homework. You know, because high school, because I was literally scratching all day, every day. My mom was like, "I don't want to hear it anymore." Like, I had headphones on, and I was going to work, just learning different cuts. I was the crab scratch, the chirp, like all those technical scratches. I was watching so many like battle videos, and I was just inspired, man. It's just like it was a really crazy time for turntablism. Like that was like 97, 98, 2000, 2001, like crazing them. They took it to a new level, you know, and that's I was doing hours of practicing.
Definitely. I would say for me, definitely, I've taken a lot of inspiration for DJs, like including yourself, just watching y'all videos. And I tell people like I make my breakdowns specifically because it's like I try not to tell people to like literally copy them, but you learn it and then you kind of like eventually you start blending them together. So I tell people like don't memorize it, just like learn it. And then as you learn more and more and more, you can start blending them together. But for you, including Craze, like who were some other DJs that kind of inspired you in that?
Yeah, the executioners like Rock Radar. This is Rock Radar's mixer.
Oh wow!
This is real. Yeah,
wow, that's wild.
I entered the Rock Radar battle, in 2013, and they didn't bring me a trophy. They were like, "Yo, Raiders family wants you to have this mixer for his house." So
That's legendary. That's crazy.
He's a huge inspiration, bro. Him, Precision, Total Eclipse, DJ Craze, Qbert, Boogie Blind. Like, there's so many DJs I could name. I could sit here all day that like inspire me, and definitely put a big like inspiration on my style. You know what I'm saying? So.
Definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So, so in that early journey, can you talk a little bit about first, like what was that first DJ battle that you entered, and then like just the general experience of entering your first DJ battle, and then also, sorry, it's like a kind of loaded question, and then talk about kind of like the preparation as well. So like the battle name, the experience, as well as like kind of the preparation for entering that first battle.
Oh, the battle name?
Yeah. If you remember, like the first battle you ever entered.
The first battle I ever entered, I believe, was the Daddy's Junkie Music. It's like a local store we had.
Okay.
Called Daddy's Junkie Music. They're not open anymore, but that was the first battle. I didn't place and I didn't win. And then the next one I entered, I got disqualified because I didn't know the rules were you can't have any cursing on your records or whatever. So
okay.
It was like, and I got disqualified. Then the next one, I think I won the third battle I was in. And it was the same. It was the second battle was called the Ultimate Breakdown, which was a B-boy battle with a DJ battle and an MC battle. And they had the second one they threw, I actually won that one. Yeah, and I was like, I still got the trophy. It's not here. It's at my mom's house, but I'm going to put the trophies in my office eventually. I got like the first 2002 was a big year for me. I won like 5 battles around here, like straight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was local battles. Then after that, I started entering like the Bronx, like Zulu Nation battles and stuff like that.
Okay, so just in general, can you dig or like let us know what does it look like for DJ Ease to like from like the immediate point where you're like, okay, I'm gonna enter this battle, and then you got your turntable set up. What does it look like when you first start preparing? Like, are you figuring out scratch patterns first? Are you getting the music first? What does that kind of look
always
like?
Choose the records, because it's about the sound. Like, so always picking the right records.
Picking the right
records. Battle is important. Like using the right records, flipping the right records, scratching to the right records, and musicality, was like very important to winning competitions. And I figured that out through just like watching other competitions, like the vinyls they chose to flip, played a huge part in who was winning and who was coming out on top. Even if you didn't win, like if you had a routine that was like became a classic because of how dope it was. There's a lot of DJs in the late 90s that made it to the USA finals and never won a US final, but their sets play such a huge impact on the scene is because of what they did, so it's all about choosing the right records.
Definitely. Choosing the right records. Yeah. Got you. That makes sense, 100%. Would you say you have, so out of all, like I definitely seen an extensive amount of championships you've won, which is nuts in itself. I mean, I'd be happy to win one, no matter where it is. If I can win one, I'd be good. If I could be I don't know if I ever be turntables of the year. I don't even know if I got enough time to even be that great. But if you had to think back to all of your DJ battles, do you have a favorite one or like a favorite experience from all of the championships you've won?
I'm going to say it's a toss up between my RedBull 3 style USA and
man, I love that set.
Yeah, that was definitely dope. And then winning my last one, which is the Goldie Awards. And the reason why is because the Goldie Awards one was like a huge hump for me because I tried, used to be able to hand in like a video because it's invite only.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's for both? Is that both of those or just the Goldie Awards?
RedBull was invite only.
Oh wow.
RedBull, you had to hand in the video, and you got all of this crazy judge panel like Jazzy Jeff, Z-Trip, Craze.
Okay, right. Okay.
They got to pick the top 6 DJs that go against each other in the USA Championship.
Right.
So that was a big deal because that's like saying, yo, I'm the best in my country, and you go to the Worlds and you represent yourself, represent the world. But for Goldie Awards, it was like the same thing, but it was picked by A-Track, who's also a big influence. And I felt like the Goldie Awards represented something that RedBull didn't, and it represented something that DMC didn't. Like RedBull is like straight, obviously it's party rock and it's multiple genres. But Goldie is like, yeah, it's party rock and multiple genres, but it's also turntablism. There's also there's no such thing as a style for the Goldie Awards. You just gotta be dope. you gotta be innovative. You know what I'm saying? So winning the RedBull 3 style, both that was a big deal because that was online. It happened on the internet, and that was obviously in person. But it just the impact it had on me as a DJ, like changed my whole career. Like the RedBull thing just changed my career. But the Goldies, I felt like solidified me as a DJ that can win multiple different competitions. Because I want a DMC, which is straight turntablism. Right. I want RedBull, which is straight party rock, and then Goldies is like creativity, and it's like those both competitions put together. So to win those 3 in a row like that was like it's hard for me to put those up against each other. But I definitely the Goldie ones. After I won the Goldie, because I won that one online. To cut the long story short, I was by myself when I found out I won. You know.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was in my backyard I was living in San Diego. I was watching it online, like everybody.
Damn, that's kind of crazy.
Because they handed my videos in, and it was a rough week, bro. Like doing those routines. I shot each routine. I shot the first routine in San Diego, the second routine in Brooklyn, and the third routine in LA.
Man.
So I was
that's already crazy.
My boy Color TV was with me through the last ones, and he was helping me edit. But I was like, I went to his house in Brooklyn. Then I had to go to LA because I was battling in the versus battle. The same night I did the versus battle, I had to hand in my video for the Fool's Gold shit. Like I had to do it all in the same day.
That's insane, man.
So it was a lot, but it was like, yo, we gonna come out on top of this because we just got done doing Lazy Boy's routine was filmed at our apartment too in San Diego. So the same mixer I won with was the same one Lazy Boy was using. So it was like,
man, that's crazy. Honestly, the fact that you even got it, man, that's like whoosh.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I would say the most proud of. It's a tie between the Goldie Award and the RedBull.
In the RedBull.
Yeah, RedBull meant a lot to me because it just when you're a turntablist, you get put in a box like, oh, he's just a scratch DJ. That's just what he does. But you say, yo, I'm the best party rock DJ in the country. It's a whole nother. People trust you more in the clubs. They trust you more with parties, and they trust you more with mixing and doing creative stuff with mixing and not just scratching. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was. I had to dumb myself down to do the 3-style set.
Really? So you think if you do too much, it might be like, all right, you're doing too much turntablism. You gotta focus more on like the music.
Right.
That could be a thing.
Because the year before that, I was in the U.S. Finals in Philly, and I didn't even place. And it's because I basically put a bunch of turntablist routines together for 15 minutes, and that's just not how. That's on the RedBull set is.
Wow. Okay.
So when I came back the next year. I was like, I figured it out. I was like, all right, I know what I need to do. Like, I know, I got it. I understand it now. And I just made it more musical and I made it more party. And I just, I threw my turntable shit in at the end, you know?
Okay.
And then that was it. But yeah, long story short, it's a tie, man, between 3-style and Goldies.
And the Goldies. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, thank you for breaking all that down. Like, I don't need no long story short. You could long story long. I'm all good to go. If people gonna eat this up, man, like just for you to have one of those.
Goldies is very emotional to me because me and my best friend DJ Color TV, we did that shit together, man. And he was with me while I was the last two. Like I was at his house, up for hours trying to film, getting this damn routine clean.
Mm-hmm.
And we right after I finished that in the morning. We filmed it, and we was like, okay, we got to get to the airport. Like, immediately, straight to the airport and fly to LA, and then shoot the last routine. I went to the headliner office, and they didn't have the right setup, so we went to Scam Artist, which is, like, around the corner. Shout out to Sujin. Shout out to DJ Scratchy and Headliner. You know what I'm saying? Those are my boys. But, yeah, we shot the last one at the studio, the Scam Artist DJ studio in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, and then that night I had to do the versus battle, and then we had to hand that video was due that night. The Fool's Gold one was due that night, to hand it in and shit. And then it was emotional for me because me and my boy Color TV, he was in New York, I was in San Diego celebrating separately, and then I flew to New York and we got drunk as fuck, so I didn't celebrate it. Like,
man, you gotta celebrate. That's the fact that you even said that you won all 3 of those. Like, man, if I could be in the finals or something like that, I'd be like over the world. You don't want all. It's
It
nuts,
was
man.
dope, man, because
I can't imagine.
shout out to the DJs in that battle too, Ricardo, Sprinkles. It was like mad dope DJs in that battle, especially 69 Beats, who did the reverse shit. His videos in reverse, and everybody's like, "Yo, he's gonna." I'm like, "Yo, that was innovative." And then I was innovative because I took the beats from the Goldie Awards beat battle, and I put that shit in my routine, and nobody's ever done that before. Like, so we had our moments, and the Mixmaster Mike, he was like showing hella love, and he's another inspiration to me, So
Yeah, he's crazy too.
he's an innovator, man. Like I just I celebrated that one with my boys, and that's why that one was emotional for me. And the first one, the RedBull was just dope because it took me out of the box of a turntablist. It made me a solidified party DJ to a lot of people that didn't know anything about DMC. Because RedBull, obviously, that shit is all over the internet in a different way.
Right. Exactly. I would like, even for myself, like I've been DJing for like 9, almost 10 years now. And I would say, as far as me just seeing publicity, I would say the three style for sure. Like I didn't even know anything about the DMC for a while until I like started digging deeper into like watching different battles. But I thought, yeah, the three style, everybody know about the three style for sure.
Yeah, three style was.
100%.
That's what I'm saying. Like three style got me booked, and it was like, all right, you not just a turntablist, you're DJ, selector, turntablist, all in one. So they took me serious, and then I got my career. Went like my money, everything went up after that. So yeah, that was cool. But yeah, anyway, yeah,
Okay. And we gonna go back to the money thing and like just networking in general, because I'm definitely interested to hear about how that took you to another level. Before we go there in a little bit, how long would you say, if you just had to give like an average amount of time, does it take you to, or like think it could be those sets, it could be just in general, to create a full Red Bull 3 style or Goldie's Award set from beginning to end? How many hours do you think is put in? Because I think a lot of people don't understand, like even like a 1-minute video you might put on Instagram, or 2-minute video. Like I know time goes, I make videos myself. I know time. How much would you say to like a 3 style or Goldie Awards set goes into that?
The three
Hours.
style set, it usually takes people months. It with me, it did take
Months.
a while.
Oof.
I scrapped a lot of stuff, and it took me 6 days. And that's
wow.
because I scrapped everything and I started all over again. But when I say 6 days, I mean 6 days, like not
like on it,
not
like
6 days and I take a nap. I was like up wired, so like I was, and even like a lot of key points in my 3 style set happened last minute. Like the reading rainbow part, I came up with that like before I got on a plane to fly to DC.
Oh, okay.
And then Young and May sent me my dub plate for the night before the battle.
Damn.
Like, it was, when I tell you it was down.
So you was putting that joint together, like still putting it together right before it came up or came to be, really.
Right. I was in my hotel room tightening everything up, so I remembered it like the back of my hand.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy to me, because like when I make a set, once I make it, it's like I got it. If I start trying to add stuff, last minute I start forgetting stuff or I start messing it up. But obviously, a professional like yourself, I know you probably could put something in at the last minute. Like, all right, I'm gonna do this at the last
memory, man.
minute or two.
Got a muscle memory.
Muscle memory. Yeah.
I muscle memory the hell out of that shit. So like I knew it so good, like I could do it with my eyes closed. And that's what happened by the time I got to do the set, I was ready to go. Like the last few minutes of the set is a little sloppy, but I knew like the first 10 minutes had to be solid. I had to make some mistakes, but they're nothing like crazy mistakes.
Right.
The RedBull set, I was ready to go. I was like, I'm ready. I did a shot of coffee or something, and I did a shot of vodka or something. I went on stage and I was lit. I was ready.
Just ready to go.
I was ready to go. I was like, I'm supposed to be here. I talked myself up. I coached myself. I did the custom model shit in my head. Like,
right.
I was like, yo.
I mean, you definitely be having the energy too. Like, I feel like that's a whole nother thing. Like, to bring that presence and like you in that moment, like you could definitely see that, especially in the 3 style. Like, you could tell you was in that moment for sure.
I'm an athlete, really, bro. Like, I play football.
Oh, okay. Easy then. Easy. You already know what it is.
So I came on stage with that energy. Like, yo, we out here. Let's do this shit. Even though everybody was on stage was on my team, even the DJs that was competing, I was friendly. I was like, y'all, all my peoples, win or lose, like I'm out here like doing this for the culture, doing it for myself, but most importantly, I'm doing it to get out of the box of like, yo, you just a scratch DJ. Because you know how long, man, we had to hear, yeah, they kind of want to book you, but they scared you're gonna scratch too much, or they're not
That's
sure.
crazy to me.
They're not sure if you're gonna. And the happy part about being a DJ to me, like it's not about the bookings or the big rooms or the thousands of people are gonna be there. The best feeling for me as a DJ is when you get to the venue and nobody knows who you are and they doubt you. You can tell they doubting you, especially the staff.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what is this dude gonna do? And you
Yeah.
destroy the place, and then they're like, yo, that was amazing. Like I had a gig last week, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the dude now because we cool, but I walked in to a venue and everybody was staff was cool, but then it was like the light guy. He walked in a bad mood anyway. I don't know what was going on with him, but I just like introduced myself, like, yo, what's up? He's like, he like kind of like whatever. I was trying to give him my logo to put on the screens. He's just like brushing me off.
Okay.
All right, cool. I still stay positive, dude. I destroyed the place, and he came to me, and then he was like, brother, I'm so sorry. I was so mean to you when you walked in here. He knew he was being a dick, and he was like, really, man, I'm sorry. I was like, it's all good, man. I understand. I always put myself on people's shoes. You never know what somebody's going through.
100%.
Okay, he's like, thank you. Shook hands. He walked away, and he came back 10 minutes later. Yo, I'm really sorry, man.
And he had to make sure. It's funny too because it's like it's like if I would have bombed and said if it would have been somebody else, they came in there and do nothing, he'd probably be like, "See, man, he ain't deserve that no way." Like
he was really on some like, "Yo,
you like my fault, bro. Like you just went crazy. My bad. I ain't even mean to."
He's like, "I completely wrote you off, man. I wrote you."
That's crazy.
He's like, "I'm so sorry, man. You didn't deserve that." Mm-hmm. But you know what? That's like the part that fuels me about this shit, showing up and nobody knowing who I am and just like making new believers, you know? And that's
so talk a little bit more about that. So you've been like when would you say you started like traveling and doing because I know you traveled with acts as well, but like as far as like solo, when would you say you started like traveling doing gigs?
Solo?
Solo gigs.
2016. Because I have to give props to the artists because obviously I was in New York City and I used to come hang out at Fat Beats record store, RIP Fat Beats, and my homegirl Amore, she used to always be in there. She was a manager. She was running. She used to hook me up too, man. I used to be so broke in New York City. Yo, New York City. I got a love-hate relationship with the city. Like,
New York different.
New York like made me who I am, made me strong, and made me like be able to handle any place I live. But that place, man, I was so broke. In Amore, shout out to Amore because I'm gonna have to share this video with her soon because she got to hear this. She was hooking me up with gigs like here and there. Like I remember a Jamba Juice opened across the street, and she was like, "Yo, I got this gig for you. I can't do it, but you want to take it?" And it was like before Serato, and I was DJing in the window, and all they wanted me to play was instrumentals, and it was dope. I played instrumentals, and they gave me $900 cash. Woo! That was the first big gig I ever had. It was like 2004, 2005. So I was like, $900 cash back then was a big ass deal, like for a DJ.
Man, play some instrumentals. That's dope. That's super dope.
And I was like, yo. And then I used to leave my mixtapes and Fat Beats for free, like at the counter. So if anybody buy records, they can grab my mixtape. Nevin what's it? Levin, I forgot. Nevin something management group walked in. They managed like the Baja Man and Michael Bolton, and they managed like all these bands and shit. And they walked in the record store like, yo, we're looking for a DJ, a turntablist for this rock band we have. And she was like, yo, there's this kid Ease that's always in here. Here's his mixtape. His numbers in the inside of the mixtape. Just call him. He's like always down to do stuff. So they called me. I was at my day job at Rite Aid at Grand Central Station, like in the stock room and shit. And they called me like, yo, can you come in for audition? We heard your mixtape. It's dope. It's like, cool. So I went in. I played them some stuff. And it was like, yo, so you want to go on tour with these guys? I'm like, cool. So I make the band. The band is based in Jersey. They signed to Capitol Records already. They had like,
Oh wow, okay.
they
Big
had
label.
the theme song for X Games. Like they already had something.
Okay.
They were in Gran
Oh, they
Turismo.
they moving.
Yeah, this song was in Gran Turismo 4 on PlayStation.
Okay.
Or like they were already doing stuff. But then they gave me my first passport. And we went to Japan. We went on tour in Japan. We went on tour with Jurassic 5. That's where I met Newmark and Cut Chemist, Nas, NERD. It was a short Japanese run, but it was dope, and it opened my eyes. And I went back to New York, and I was scanning groceries. Like I was in a superstar.
Really?
It went from like, yo, I'm on tour to like, okay, reality is just like you're really not a full-time artist yet, you know. So I got this. It's like,
how long was that
was a
first
week.
tour?
It was only a week.
Just a week. Okay, so it was probably super busy during that week.
I was treated like a superstar for a week. We had hotels, you had fans, you had screaming fans, because we had a hit record out there.
Mm-hmm.
You going on MTV TRL, you like literally signing autographs, you're taking pictures, you're doing all this stuff, and you're hanging out with celebrities, you're hanging with Pharrell. Pharrell's telling you you're dope. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in the green room. You're in the green room having lunch with Pharrell and Shad and the Roots is there. Like just all these people you like. It just was a clusterfuck of everything I was listening to, and I was in the room
people
with
right in front of your face. Man.
Yeah, I was in the room with everybody. Khalees was with Nas at the time. Like it was just like everybody was there. And then I was back to reality, which is scanning groceries. And I was like, yo, I got to do something. I have to do something. So I just started working on my mixtape game like harder. The band broke up. And
band broke up.
I was
Okay.
devastated. The band broke up. I was like, yo, I thought this was going to be. They broke up. They lost their deal with Capitol. A week later, I was crying, bro. I was like, yo.
That's terrible because that was the move, right? Just that weak stretch. But keep going.
I was young. I was like 19 years old. I was young. I was
19, okay.
Fresh out of high school. And I thought that was my break. And then God showed me like that's not yeah, you're dope, you're a turntablist in this rock band, and you learned a lot about musicality, you learn how to work in a group, you learn how to do all this, you know what to do, but that's not you. And then the next week I was at Kinkos. You ever watch Chappelle's show, the Pop Copy episode?
Oh yeah, that's like ain't that like one of the first ones? That's gotta be for sure.
Pop Copy is the same as at Kinkos. That's really Kinkos. It's the same as that Kinkos that met Afu-Ra. It's really a Kinkos into 27th and 7th. It might not be there no more. But
I thought that was a set for sure. That's crazy. That's real. That's crazy.
And those fucking employees there really act like that. That's what's funny. So my boy, I used to meet my boy AT up there. AT used to print my mixtape covers. So I'll meet him at different Kinkos around the city. He'd be like, yo, meet me at 27-7. Yo, meet me at da-da-da.
Right.
So I had a new mixtape. I was like, yo, I need a cover made for this. He was like, all right, I got you. So I hit him off with some cash, and he used to do his little thing on two to make sure I get like thousands of copies. I don't know what he used to do, but he used to make sure I was set. And Afu-Ra walked in, and I was a huge Primo fan, so I listened to any artist Primo produced, especially Afu's albums. In high school, I was listening to that shit religiously. So Afu walked in, and he was like, yo, son, you know how to print this? And I'm like, yo, you Afu-Ra. He's like, yeah, man, I need to print this fucking CD thing. You know, help me. I helped him.
He on some casual. Right.
But I handed him my mixtape at the same time. Like, yo, it's my new mixtape. He's like, yo, dope. He's like, yo, I'm about to go to Switzerland. I'm going to see a mixtape. If it's dope, when I come back, I might need a DJ. I was like, all right, cool. I didn't think nothing of it. Man. He came back, called me. He came to my crib. He's like, yo, we going on tour with Wu-Tang next month. Clear your schedule and shit. I was like, what? He's like, yeah.
Oh, what?
We're on tour, Inspect Your Deck, and all this shit. I was like, all right. So I was on tour with him for like a whole summer.
Wow.
And that rolled into a Euro tour. And we was on tour in Europe for like 3 years. And I just met so many people. Like I met, that's when I met SK83.
Okay.
Me and SK met in 2006. We've been friends since 2006. Like the first time SK ever came to America. He stayed on my mom's couch. Shit, like so. I know him when he's bad English, bro.
Going
I
way
loved
back,
it.
man.
So he was one of the people that encouraged me to move to Germany. I'm pretty sure. But I remember living in Brooklyn and I was still struggling. I had my day job. My last day job, I was working as a driver for Edible Arrangements.
Okay.
And I remember like, yo, bro, because I kept going to Germany with Afu, and I kept booking little. I met so many DJs on tour, Afu, and all the DJs run the clubs in Europe. So they'd be like, yo, want to
So
book
at that time, I'm sorry to cut you off. At that time, you were going back and forth, like
Yeah,
back
I
to
was going
America,
back
back
and
to
forth with Afu.
okay,
And then I was staying out there months at a time, doing touring, doing shows.
months at a time. Okay.
And we'll do Switzerland, we'll do Germany. We're all over Europe, man. It's like I make so many relationships. And then yeah, dude was like, yo, why don't you just move here, bro? Like they book you anyway. Like, why don't you just I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. But to go back on SK, man, I learned a lot about party rocking through SK because he let me know that yeah, New York is New York, Germany is Germany, but hip hop is universal. So the first time I seen SK DJ, not to make this an SK interview, but it's very fucking important people understand how important this dude is in my life too, because me and him we're
100%.
not just DJ buddies, we're real friends. Like we slept on each other's couches, we hung out on a daily basis, like we're real friends. So he's the first DJ I ever seen. When I walked, there was the first club I went to in Germany. It's called the Kudorf. My boy Vantel was running that shit down there at the time, and it's in Berlin, Germany. And they put a DJ on each side of the club, and this dude SK was destroying every fucking DJ that came up there, bro. And he's not even from Berlin. He's from like a small ass town outside. Like he's from Dresden and shit. And
so it's like a go back and forth. Like one
like
DJ go, other
sets or something.
And he killing everybody. Damn, that's the worst when you get smacked like that. You like, damn, let me get off the tables. Okay.
Yo, he was like, I was in a club like, yo, this dude is dope. And what was I never seen before is it's like right when Serato dropped. So it was like 2000. It was like 2006, but it's like when people really started getting into using Serato, like 2006, 2007.
Okay.
If he had the record, he played the real record. If he didn't have the record, he used Serato. So he was
going back and forth
before, you know? I was like, yo, you're dope, bro. I walked up to him like, yo, he's like, hey man, my English is bad, but let's talk. I want to come to America and shit. I was like, that'd be dope. So I learned a lot about the business through him, but I also learned a lot about programming. And he booked me to DJ with him the first time. And he was the one of the DJs very brutally honest. Like, he don't give a fuck. He tells you how it is. He's like,
that's what people need. That's what people need. We need brutal honesty. Like, ain't all that sugarcoating only gonna make you worse.
Right. And he told me straight up, he's like, yo, you're good, but you don't know where the fuck your songs are on your laptop.
God, so he on the organizer tip immediately.
You need to organize your crates. You need to do this. You should. You got to step. He told me straight up, you got to step your game up when it comes to promoting yourself. You got to. And I watched him get the attention of Serato. I watched him get the attention of Rain. I watched him do what he had to do. He showed up where he had to show up. Do what he had to do to get the attention and make these relationships. You know what I'm saying? And not make excuses for yourself as a DJ, because there's no such thing. He was a party rock DJ. He wasn't never really a turntablist, but he could scratch and he could juggle and shit, but he wasn't of the battle world. And he was always trying to figure out how to get the attention of the masses doing what he did. And he was like, I remember he's about to enter the DMC, but he's not really a DMC type DJ. He's like, yeah, I'm cutting my own vinyl right now to get in the DMC, because this is when you couldn't use Serato on DMC. You use vinyl. He's like, I'm cutting my own vinyl. I'm about to do this shit. And I don't know what happened, but he probably didn't really answer. But when the RedBull 3 style came out in 2012, this motherfucker walked in.
He was ready for that joint.
Yo, he walked in the club. He's like, yo, this is battle. Fucking RedBull. This is it. He told me this is the shit. And he played me 4 Color Zach's set. He's like, yo, this is dope. This is before a video even dropped. It was like audio. And he's like, yo, this is gonna be it. And he told me, he was like, yo, 2 years later, he won the world championship. And then he got but
world championship.
I had to tell that story because the people I learned from Afu, I learned how to hustle and how to manage your own self. Afu never had a manager; he was managing himself. He taught me that.
Wait, sorry to cut you off. I just want to make sure we get as much because no, I appreciate the story. When you say manage yourself, what just keep going a little bit about like what that looks like as far as like trying to manage yourself and trying to network yourself out of there. What does that look like for a DJ that's on the come up?
Right. So I never had a manager. I do everything out of relationships.
Okay.
So my bookings. So if you see Ease on tour, it's either through I might have dates with Young and May, but if you see a club tour, that's all my relationships.
All
that's
relationships.
Contacting DJ so and so in Italy, DJ so and so and da da da, and I'm hitting them up and I'm lining this shit up myself, and I'm routing my flights myself.
Got you.
I'm booking my own hotels, and I'm making my own contract with every venue to like, yo, let me get 500 up front so I can book my travel and stay. Da da da. You know, I'm doing all of that myself because I learned that, and they get your back end when you do the gig. You know, you get the rest of your money. I learned all of that through Afu.
Okay.
I watched him do it every night. You know, so I knew what was fair when it came into me doing like other shit. When I moved to Vegas, I had an agency.
Okay.
Just specifically in Vegas and Atlantic City, that was Beat Clan. Shout out to DJ Jester. Shout out to Lee. They brought me to Vegas. You know, and they so. Yeah, not having a manager is I still don't have a manager, and I never had a manager. I've had an agency once, and I'm not even working with them anymore. But that's what, and to clear that up too, you can't have your agency can't be your manager. It's illegal.
So what does that mean exactly? Because from my eyes, I see like an agency. Like I thought they were not the same, but kind of similar. Are they completely?
The agent books the gigs and handles the money and make sure you get paid.
Okay.
Management does that too, but the manager makes sure you get in your hotel. They make sure you're booked. They make sure a lot of things, but a lot of management deal with agencies. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's not the same thing. Like an agent could just like send you your dates. They just email you, yo, here's your schedule, here's your calendar for the month. Boom, like. And you have a contract with them, non-compete. Like, don't go behind our back and book yourself because you got to go through us.
Right.
That type of shit. So I did that in Vegas for. When I landed in Vegas, I had the red carpet laid out for me. I already had everything because I had an agency like that was like, yo, we're gonna set you up and look out for you, you know. And yeah. So I learned that lifestyle, but managing yourself, a lot of people don't want to do that, and I understand that it is a lot of work. But I don't know anything else. That's all I know, bro. It's like.
Just getting it yourself.
Yeah.
And then as far as like not to talk about any specific numbers, but as far as like even from the money standpoint, is it a lot more lucrative to just kind of manage yourself and do it yourself versus being with an agency?
Depending on the venue. So
depending on the venue.
With a casino, it looks better to have an agency.
Okay. That makes sense.
Look. Like if you're doing a management tip shit like me where I'm hitting up relationships, it's better at your level, and they make sure you get paid and they make sure everything is cool. But the agent, when you're dealing with like the Hard Rock or you're dealing with fucking MGM, Grand, and stuff like that, most of those places are ran by agencies anyway, you know. So
got you.
Yeah, it's a better look when you have representation in that kind of thing. But yeah, so I wanted to get a manager a couple times, but I'm just like,
kind of like. Yeah, I was about to say I was gonna ask you. So for like even for myself, I'm asking for myself and other DJs that are trying to just like break into the scene no matter where they are. Would you recommend them kind of straddle the fence, like kind of maybe join? I don't know if you can do an agency and do your own thing at the same time, but if you had to give them a recommendation, would it be kind of find you an agency that works for you, or more so focus on like building the relationships, like you said, building relationships for yourself and kind of managing yourself? If you had to give a recommendation,
I would literally say if you have done a lot already, like me, for example, you traveled already and you made the relationships already. You've already been on a roll with an artist or whatever. If you know a lot of DJs across the board that can book you, book yourself. But if you're up and coming and you have an agency offer and they know you're a good DJ and they're willing to back you, go with the agency and go with the management as well. Like me, everybody's situation is different. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sit there and say my way is the right way to go about it, because there's different ways you can go about it. Everybody's situation is different. But for me, it made sense for me to manage myself because I know so many people.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Right.
So when you're hitting these, this like strictly from like a music standpoint, when you're hitting these different places, like let's say it's in the US and you hitting some of these different clubs that you may have booked through, like while you're in Vegas, or like by yourself. How do you prepare like for these different clubs? Is like a lot of the music the same? Are you like looking at different cities and like hitting up other DJs like what's most popping in these different cities? Are you just like researching on Google? What does that look like when when you're like traveling, going to these different places?
As far as the music aspect, is what like
As far as musically, yep, like preparing musically to make sure, because like every DJ is not necessarily afraid, but like you want to make sure when you go into these different clubs that you know what's gonna rock the club.
right. That's why I'm very, very blessed to be like a DJ that understands every room. And when I say every room, I understand a house music room, I understand a hip hop room, a reggae room, a Spanish room, and that's because
Got you.
New York City groomed me to play everything,
That
like
makes sense.
down to salsa music. Like you gotta know, but every DJ from New York can't play Vegas, so I have the Vegas experience as well too. So when I walk into a club that's open format, I can literally ask the management like, "Yo, so what do you play?" And they say open. So open, I can just be like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna be up tempo a lot, down tempo, rarely, and then So you just know like, yo, this is really an open room. When they say open room, is mainly they want you to play a lot of uh everything like EDM and fucking all that shit. So I
Got you.
usually ask questions, and then when I show up at the club, I catch the vibe. But
Okay.
uh, and I've played like Old Dirty Sundays in Tampa, which is straight raw hip hop vibes,
Okay.
soul funk, Afro beats, dance hall. There's b boys that show up there. I can play all of those shits because I'm from all of those elements. But
Got you.
like this past weekend in Tampa, like yeah, they were like, "Yo, it's gonna open format." That means they prefer a lot of EDM. They prefer a lot of this, and I don't have a problem playing that because I played Vegas, bro. In Vegas, it's like definitely sharpen my sword in the way that I can play any room, and it's a cakewalk for me, So it's not
Definitely.
yeah, but
Definitely makes sense.
yeah. So yeah, I prepare myself based on like if I play Brooklyn, I'm gonna prepare that set
Okay.
because Brooklyn. You got your drill music, you got Afro beats, you got all these inspirational shit, but you also got to be up on the new shit.
Always, man.
So being on tour with MA helps me with the new shit because with hip hop now, there's a new record every week, every
Man, I
day.
got it. It's so much stuff, man. We ain't got enough. There's so many questions I got to ask. Keep going. My fault. I'm just thinking. I got so many questions to ask.
Yeah,
No. But keep going. No, I ain't mean to cut you off, even though I did.
nah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll be on the tour with these young heads. Like MA and her whole team is young. They in their 20s, and I'm 30. I'm 30 something. You know what I'm saying? So I ask questions. I'm like, yo, what's hot in the streets? They be like, yo, this.
I was about to ask that. Okay.
They be like, this young so and so, young so and so, little so and so. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like but because trying to look at the charts and keep up with this shit is not possible. It's like,
so do you ever? So when they tell you something is hot, do you ever download music and then like maybe you've listened to it, but you don't really know if it's gonna go off, but you'll just play it based on someone just telling you like this is the song to play, even if you have like no idea. Like, do you do that sometimes, or are you always?
if I'm in a certain city, like if I'm in Philly and they like, yo, all the youth is fucking with this record.
You gonna play it like off rip? Like I ain't gotta listen to it. I'm gonna play it,
or I'm gonna play it when I'm opening up for MA. That's when I test out records.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
If I'm in that city, like there's a lot of records that go off in New York, like the Gallus record that won't go off in LA, but it'll go off in New York, it'll go off in Connecticut. Like there's so many records that's playing in certain areas that you don't know about. When I go down south, you gotta have to I play Arkansas. They're like, yo, you gotta play Bootsy. Bootsy, you gotta play Bootsy. You gotta play Bootsy.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, so you play Bootsy and they go fucking crazy, and you're like, damn, this shit won't hit like this in New York. Right? It's just like where you at, man. It's a lot of homework, That's a good thing about touring with an artist is I get to ask questions and shit like that. But
cool.
If it's a DJ, there's another thing I want to say real quick. There's the DJ E set, and then there's the club set. So if I get booked to do DJ E shit, it's mainly like I get booked in Dallas a lot, and they're like, "Yo, we want you to just play your routines." And
got you.
Is a bunch of DJs show up to watch me do my routines, or they'll be like, "Yo, we want you to do a party set." This is a club's environment. So and I can do workshops. There's different things I can do, but yeah, I come at it from all elements, man. I don't leave I don't leave anything unturned. You know what I gotta do.
Got you. All right, I don't want to hold you too much longer, but I definitely got just a few more questions to ask. How did that relationship with Young and May start?
Okay.
Or like how did that come about? Because before you even answer, like I feel like a lot of DJs' dream is to like connect with like a bigger artist and become their DJ. Even for myself too. All these questions I'm asking for myself too. But it's like, how does that come about?
All right, so this is a crazy story because I literally manifested this shit. I'm gonna say I manifested. I'm gonna say I talked to God and God put his opportunity. Oh, I was at South by Southwest in 2017 or 16. One of those. 2017. 2017. I was at South by Southwest. And my hotel was across the street from the main stage for MTV, had a stage there or some shit. Young M.A. was performing and she came out the Quiet Storm, the MOB, the Mob Deep beat. She came out with that. I was like, yo. Whew. Mind you, I haven't DJed for any artists since 2009 at this time. So I was done with artists. I'm not doing artist shit anymore. I'm a club DJ. Mm-hmm. Yo. She was killing. I was like, I said it out loud. I was like, man, I wish I DJ for her. That would be dope. A week later, my boy James Neach hits me. James Neach works for Duck Down Records. Duck Down Records manages Young M.A. And he's like, yo, we don't know where the fuck her DJ is. Can you fly into Houston tomorrow?
What?
And she's on tour with T Grizzly and 21 Savage on this monster tour. Can you like at least fly in tomorrow? And like, we don't know where he is. We don't know what's going on. And I literally, for a second, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I gotta think about it.
Okay, what made you say that first? What made you say I gotta think about it?
I'm gonna tell you why I said that. Because of the trauma I dealt with DJing for artists, which is if the artist isn't working, I'm not working. So when Afu wasn't touring, I had to go home and find a job.
You got to go back and
I forgot. I'm a full-time DJ now. I don't got to worry about that anymore. You're in Vegas. I'm in Vegas DJing huge gigs, bro. I'm DJing like making like buku money a week. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, I don't have to think about it. But I went and at the time my girl, she was like, do that shit. What are you talking about? M.A. is a platinum artist. Like, you stupid. Like, that's only gonna make you worth more money. I'm like, you absolutely right. But the scary part of me was like, I also asked for this shit.
Yeah.
So how the hell, who am I to say I don't want to do it? And I said I want to do it. And then my boy that I've known, my boy from my city, ends up working for her management team.
Crazy.
And calling me. And he's like, yo, send me a demo video. I sent him a video. I flew into Houston the next day, and I've been her DJ ever since.
Man.
So that's like how that happened. And that was a week after I said I was
South by Southwest.
Yes. And I had that week off. I never had weeks off. I had like 2 weeks off of work to even do the tour. And that was like, wow. Like, yeah. I missed like 2 shows on her tour because I had dedications to, I had my residency at the Hard Rock at the time. But other than that, man, I've been with her ever since, and it's been beautiful. It's been great. Now I've been all over the world with her. She's been in so many cities that I've already been to, though, when I was there with Afu. So I'm the old head on tour. Everybody's like, yo, right. And I'm like, we're in Germany performing, and I'm like, yeah, I used to live here. And they're like, what?
You know? Bruh. So I feel like, oh, go ahead.
No, I got to experience traveling the world differently this time. Because the first time I was doing it, I was in straight grind mode. Now I'm actually enjoying it, you know? So it's cool.
Man, I was just gonna say it's crazy because I feel like your journey is a perfect representation of like when the preparation and the opportunity meets, you already being, or I can't even think of the saying. It's like you were already prepared for all these things. So when these things started falling in line for you, it was like you was ready to go. I feel like a lot of the times you got to just stay prepared for that opportunity. So when it does come, you don't miss the ball. Like even when you said you sent or with our food, how everything with that worked out.
CD ready.
Like, man, you gotta be ready to go. Like you gotta be ready to go. Music ready, skills ready, personality ready, everything. Gotta just like can't be afraid to hand out a CD. Can't be afraid to ask for this.
You can't be afraid to ask for shit, bro. You can't be, and you definitely can't be afraid to be ready, man. Because a lot of people making it, you can't make any excuses.
I hear excuses all the time. I got some people like even down to like it just be like some of the basic things. I'm like, you gotta just start thinking on a bigger level. Like as long as you prepare, as long as you got the skills, you got some music, that's all you need to worry about. I mean, of course, there's other smaller things, but it's like they worry about such the smallest things. And I'm like, you gotta just if you prepared, you'll be good. Don't be afraid to ask.
I got a homie. I tell this story. He get pissed off every time I bring this shit up, but I'm gonna talk about it. I was at Stankonia Studios where Outkast recorded all the albums, and I was DJing. Shout out my boy DJ Recognize. He invited me out to Atlanta to DJ with him at Stankonia for Big Boy's birthday. It was at the studio.
Okay.
They got a club in the back of the studio.
Okay.
Where they recorded all the albums. And my boy Matt came with me, and he's a producer. He's the first person I knew with an MPC, like in high school. Like he was making beats. And this is like, I'm like, yo, bring your beats with you. He's like, yeah, all right. So we hanging out at Stankonia, and Big Boy just starts playing the records for us, like songs that he didn't put out. He's just like playing them off his iPod. He's like, yo, this and this. And I'm like, yo, my boy Matt makes beats. He's like, word, put some beats on. The motherfucker ain't bring his beats. And it wasn't it wasn't just Big Boy. Raekwon was there. It was Raekwon from Wu-Tang and fucking Big Boy in the studio, like, yo, put some beats
saying
on.
Play some beats. No beats ready? Not even. Damn,
in the studio, though.
That's tough.
We're in the studio. So they could have made a record to your beat that night.
Or at least you could have played one beat. It could have been cracked. They could have been like, oh, we got to keep his contact. That could have opened up, man. That's that being ready. Damn.
Being ready. I'm like, where your CDs at? Oh, they at the hotel. Why they at the hotel?
Bro, when I think about the grand scheme of things, I'd be like, I guess opportunities just come to those that are ready. It's like that could have been an opportunity. I would be thinking about something like that for a long time. Like I'd be like, damn, was that my moment? Did I miss am I gonna get another one of these or did I miss it? Like
you never got another one of those. Because he's a huge Wu-Tang fan. So for him to not produce a record for Raekwon and Big Boy, because what's the last record they've been on that was fire? Old school, with that old school plays, the new school fools. Cats keep it jumping like kangaroos. That record was you. That was Raekwon and Outkast. You would have been the next motherfucker to do that kind of record. You like, yo. So my whole point is, if you always ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know what I'm saying? Stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That's what they say. So I'm always prepared, man. I like. The only thing I wasn't prepared for is last week. I had my camera, my 360 camera. I bring it on all my gigs now. Room. And for the first time in my career, somebody tried to attack me while I was DJing.
Try to attack you while you was DJing?
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out why this dude tried to attack me. But I'm DJing. It's me and a homie on stage. I don't want to tell what club it is because to protect them, I don't want to. Mm-hmm. Shout out to them because they already bring me out. Yo, I'm DJing, doing my thing and shit. Dude walks up to me like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like,
dog, what?
Whatever. No, what are you doing?
Sorry.
He's like, what are you doing? He grabs me, pulls me up against the LED screen.
Oh, no,
what are you doing? I'm like, oh, this dude is serious.
That's wild.
So my first instinct I thought he was the manager. It was a clean cut white dude, like 6'2". I'm like, this dude's probably manager. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, he coming on stage. Security let him come on stage. You know, he must be somebody that works here.
Right.
What are you doing? He grabs me and just pushed me. And then my first instinct was like, oh, this dude is serious. So when he grabs me, I just like, I forearmed his neck so he couldn't move his shoulder. I grabbed his right arm on my left hand. And then I just ran with his ass all the way across the stage into the VIP. It was like the back end of a couch. Like, so his back hit that shit. And I got one hit on him. And then the fucking security swarmed and grabbed him and shit after that. But I'm like, still in my head, like, what? So I'm thinking it's probably a Bad Bunny request that I didn't take from his girlfriend.
So that Bad Bunny, I don't understand that Bad
Because, yo.
Oh, my God, man.
Why? That had to be like a Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith situation where your girlfriend's like, yo, he wouldn't play my song. And me, I know myself. I always say, yeah, I'm going to play your song when I don't play that shit.
Oh yeah, off top. Like one out of 50. You're like, that actually was a good request. I might play that in a minute.
I don't even go that far. I just say yeah.
Oh, you just say you didn't even think about it. You ain't even listening. You like in one ear out the other.
I can't even read the screen. I'll be like, oh yeah, got you.
I got you. Oh yeah, I feel it.
So that probably happened with his shorty, and he just came up like she probably was like, he's not playing my fucking song. And he probably just like he probably couldn't take it anymore. He just Will Smithed it.
Oh, not the Bad Bunny request. Like, I've been seeing that circulate. So I'm like, I don't even I don't understand where that came from. Like, is that a real thing? People don't want to hear no. Like, I know he doing numbers, but people don't want to hear it in the clubs. I don't understand that.
I don't even think he didn't want it. You could tell he didn't really want it. I'm like, bro, you don't really want this.
Right? Come on now. I'm just
proud of myself. And what's great after that shit happened, I just went right back to my set. I just kept DJing.
Kept it professional.
That's kept it professional. I learned that in Vegas. You don't want lawsuits. You don't want club suing you. You don't want none of that shit. So I was like, and my homeboy that was there, he's like, yo, I'm fucking pissed. I'm mad. He's like, how are you not mad? I was like, hey, DJing is therapy too, bro. So I was calming myself down by rocking. And you know what song I dropped when he came up?
What's that?
I dropped Kanye, You Can't Tell Me Nothing. Then he came on stage. What are you doing?
Obviously couldn't tell him shit. He was feeling that. He was like, hey, I'm about to go. That's crazy to attack a DJ in the mid set. Especially like this ain't no random club, no random party. Like you a famous professional ass, everybody know you DJ. Like I could maybe mad, bro. That's crazy.
He was really mad.
Like, yeah, he was upset. He had to be drunk too. That's crazy. Had to be on something.
And he was mad, but the security guards was
I don't know how he got it. You said it was holding him beforehand?
He was still trying to get to me through the security guards. Like
that was something else, bro. He must know you from a long time. He took his girl or something, bro. Something that's crazy to me.
I was in Florida. I'm not from Florida.
Man.
Yeah, well anyway, yeah, that was current. It was actually funny to me, but it was not because it was like, yo, that could have went left.
Could have went left real quick. Would you say that's probably one of the craziest things that's ever happened? Probably.
That was the first time I was ever attacked while I was DJing. Like dude broke, like tried to like, and then he went to swing on me, and I was already ready. I was like, I just had to. I already knew what to do, you know. So I hit him with a little 1-2 and just got him out of there. Got him up, fuck up out of there,
real quick.
I got back to my set. I didn't even miss the hook. I think I made it back.
He said didn't even miss the hook.
I got it back to the next hook, and I dropped Good Life after that. And everybody hit their hands up and shit.
Hey, going crazy. All right, man. I got 2 more questions for you, man. I love to honestly have you back on for a part 2 at some point because I got a million. I can go on forever. But 2 more, just 2 last questions. One being, for a DJ again on the come up, a DJ that's trying to get out here, get more gigs, maybe travel, just a DJ in general. What would be the number 1 piece of advice that you would give to them? Just a DJ on the come up right now in today's market.
Practice and put as much content of what you do, because your Instagram is your business card, man. Your TikTok is your business card. Like, I don't even hand out business cards anymore. If somebody asks me, yo, you got a card? I put my number in their phone and I make them follow me on Instagram. Because how many times you tell somebody, you give me a business card and it ends up on the floor and whatever. But when they get up in the morning and sit in the toilet and they scroll through Instagram, they're like, oh yeah, I followed this dude from last night. And they can see everything you're doing. And I get booked a lot through social media. So yeah, continue to post content. You got routines, you got mixes, you got things, you got ideas. Put it on the internet. Sell yourself. You know? That's the best way I can put it.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and ask my one more. Appreciate that as well. Definitely, y'all networking. I mean, not even networking, posting. I know that was a big thing.
Definitely networking.
Network. Right. I know that's a big one too. But just, I remember one of the last gigs I got. Literally, they were like, "Can I see your YouTube or can I see your Instagram? Do you have a YouTube and do you have a TikTok?" And I'm like, I can remember even years back. It just like I used to get a lot of gigs just like networking. This person would know somebody and they'd be like, "Hey, he a good DJ, hire him, I'll get hired." But now it's like I know how big social having something. Because if you don't have nothing on nothing, I feel like somebody gonna, ain't no way you a DJ, or ain't no way I'm about to hire you because I can't see nothing. I can't see nothing that you done did.
Because DJing is like, especially since the pandemic.
Especially since the pandemic.
A lot of people have been it's been exposing the shit out of DJs. Like, you're getting exposed right now. Like, if you're not posting no heat, or do you really even DJ? Or if you're not like displaying any kind of skill level, do you even DJ? But yeah, the networking is important. That's important. And relationships, and keeping good relationships. Because that's what keeps you going. It keeps you booked. You know everybody. Like, I literally remember being in Hawaii on a layover. And I posted I was in Hawaii on a layover. And DJ 5, my boy from Headliner, was like, "Yo, you in Hawaii?" I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta stay overnight." He's like, "You want a gig?" I'm like, "Yeah." He connected me with somebody. They connected me. Bonix connected me to somebody. And next, I was DJing in a club in Hawaii that night because of relationships. Just because of relationships, and that's social media too. Because I posted on my story, "Yeah, I'm in Honolulu on a fucking layover. I don't know what to do." And then my boys just linked me with a bunch of DJs, and I made relationships with them now. Now, whenever I go to Hawaii, I can hit them up.
Man, the strength of relationships, meeting people. I find people take that for granted a lot. It was real interesting to hear what you were talking about earlier, just as far as like you booking yourself and getting booked by DJs and just having relationships with these venues and people. I know that goes a very, very long way. Last thing I want to ask you was how do you, like, as a professional, as someone who's been doing this for a long time, obviously extremely skilled, top tier, A-list, A+ list tier skill. How do you practice as far as when you're trying to get better technically, or just, it could be just in general DJing? How does DJ Ease practice to get better even after being in the game for so long? So I feel like some people feel like they hit a not a wall, but like hit a ceiling. I'm like, your ceiling can't be right here if you got other people that's up here. Like, there's no way you hit that ceiling. So how would you say you practice to still get better today?
I don't practice enough, but if I get at least a day a week where I can just lock in, and I got to keep posting content, which makes you practice more, right? So, throughout the week, like 2 days a week, I like try to come up with a routine.
Put something together.
Something I could post for Shaq Fu, or I could post for the radio station, keep myself fresh. So that drives me, man. Like, just doing a little shit like that. But I also practice like if I got a club night where they're like, "Yo, we don't have an opener for you. We'll pay you extra because there's no opener. You go do the opening set." I'm like, "Yeah." Then I practice during the opening set.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense.
Like, and not to say practice. I'm not practicing turntable shit. I'm practicing like blends, like trick mixing, and like just like little stuff, like adding different effects I would never really add. Like, having more fun with learning the mixer inside and out. Shit like
Got
that.
you. That's 100. That's 100. Okay, so first of all, appreciate you, man, for taking this time. Like I said, I mean, I know you just mentioned Shaq Fu. That was something I meant to touch. But we could definitely, if I can get some more time from you another time, I'd definitely love to touch on some more things. But before we do get up out of here, if you just want to let everybody know where they can find you, anything that you got coming up, socials, anything just in general, where they can find DJ E, socials, anything you got for the people.
Yes, sir. DJEase.com. Everything's there. DJEase.com. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe. All that. I got my routines. I have a lot of routines on YouTube. I haven't posted. I didn't post it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. Just DJEase _ on Instagram. Be on the lookout for. I got some tour dates coming up with Young and May festivals and shit. We got this weekend. We're playing in Brooklyn. Playing in Coney Island. We're playing at the Dear Summer Festival with Serrani.
Oh, dope.
That's gonna be dope. That's last minute. I got that booking this morning, so it's like really last minute. But, yeah, and then WDKX. I'm on WDKX radio, is a station from my city. It's one of the first Black-owned radio stations on the East Coast.
Okay.
WDKX stands for Frederick Douglass. Martin Luther King is the K, and X is Malcolm X. But we play R&B, hip hop, one of the number one stations out here. And I grew up listening to this station, so it's a blessing for me to be playing on that station for 10 years now. So you can listen to me live 7:00 Monday through Friday on WDKX.com. So there's that too. And then Shaq Fu Radio, download the Shaq Fu app. I'm on there at 3:00 Eastern time every day. So Boom.
Dope. Y'all heard him. DJEase.com. Definitely check him out. He got some stuff coming up with Young and May. Definitely check out the radio stations as well. Just want to thank you again, man, for dropping some amazing gems, some tips for our DJs out here. And with that said, I'll catch y'all in the next one.
Yeah. Do a part 2.